5 minutes after the hour, 10 o'clock, and I believe we have the infamous, famous Mr. Steve Earle on the phone with us. Steve, Ricky Sciardo here. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. How are you, Rick?
Man, I tell you, Steve Earle, first of all, we miss you, and I just want to tell you that, man, I thought the Asteroids were hot. You knocked this sumbitch out of the park with this album, dude.
Yeah, well, we just we're pretty proud of it. I'm proud of the songs. It was a thing that sort of started organically over a period of time. I was writing songs for the blues record, and then the Colvin and Earle record, and then T-Bone Burnett asked me to write a song for the TV show Nashville, and I wrote. It was for a character that had just gotten out of prison that had a song he was bringing to his brother, who's one of the main characters, and T-Bone knew I could do that, write stuff to order, so I wrote If Mama Could Have Seen Me. And then later, Buddy Miller asked me for a song for the show, and I wrote Looking for a Woman. And then when I got done, with the Colvin and Earle record, and we were touring, I started thinking about my own record, and I got those two songs out, and I thought, wow, these kind of have the same vibe going on. And then I realized I've been listening to Honky Tonk Heroes a lot again, which is just a record I listen to every, 7 or 8 years, ever since it came out in 1973.
Well, I tell you, we've been, talking amongst ourselves, my boys Rico and Racehorse, and man, this is a true Texas honky tonk. I mean, of course, you got Willie, and you got the Johnny Bush thing going. Then you've got, I even think the last one, Michelangelo's got some Townes Van Zandt-esque writing. And that's just
Well, thanks. Well, it's a song written for Guy Clark, is what it
okay?
is.
That's. I mean, my God, they were such good friends as you were as well, and
they were my teachers, and now they're both gone, and that's a big deal. It's like becoming an orphan as an adult. Susanna's gone, Guy's gone, Towns is gone. So me and Rodney Crowell, especially with Guy, Rodney and I took Guy's and some other folks took Guy's ashes out to Santa Fe to Terry Allen's house.
Oh, did you really? That is awesome.
Yeah, and he's his ashes are still there because he's going in a bronze that Terry made. That's what he wanted, so that's why we carried him on a tour bus, and he's sitting on Terry's mantle waiting to go into a bronze when it's completed.
Well, there's not a finer sculptor and songwriter than Terry Allen to do that, so that's quite the honor for Mr. Guy Clark. And I spoke to Guy about a week before he passed, maybe 2 weeks before he passed away, and oh my God, that just hit me so hard, And I'm sure as it did you, It did. I saw him a few days before I got there as much as I could the last several months, and then Rodney called me when he passed away, and then we had a wake in Nashville, like I said, and then we all got on a bus and took him to Santa Fe, and we had another one there. Well, it's good to have good friends like you, Steve Earle, and Rodney as well as Guy Clark had so many damn friends, and that's what we all loved about him. So you want to be an outlaw? I think you're already there, Steve Earle.
Well, I think the deal was I wanted to rehabilitate the term outlaw because it's sort of I'm on a radio channel that's called that, and a lot of times some of the people I run into think and even an Australian journalist the other day asked me, he said, well, it was really about your lifestyle, the things you guys were doing besides playing music. And I said, no, it wasn't. It was really about Doug Somm moving back from California, and almost the same time Willie Nelson moving back to Texas from Nashville. And Doug Somm, appointed Willie in the direction of Armadillo World Headquarters and introduced him to Jerry Wexler. And that's why Wexler signed Willie and why Shotgun Willie and Phases and Stages. Doug doesn't get enough credit for that because I think he, in a lot of ways, he's kind of, if not the father of what they call outlaw country, the midwife for sure, because he had a lot to do with Willie Nelson making the two records when he finally got to make a record the way that he wanted to. And that's what it was about. It was about country artists discovering that rock artists had freedom that they didn't have, and making records the way they wanted to. So they got labeled by the industry outlaws, and they just decided to take it as a compliment.
Well, you have a good way to put all that. And, they're in, like my man Billy Joe Shaver, you don't get any more badass outlaw than that as well. So Father's Day is coming up, Steve Earle, and I just want to congratulate you for being such a good daddy, and with your son, and Justin's grown up to be quite the man,
and he's getting ready to be a dad any minute. I'm actually in Portland right now, where he lives, and I'll see Jen Marie in a little while. He's in Sweden at the moment, but he's going to be a dad pretty much any minute.
Oh, that's great, man. Well, happy Father's Day to you, man.
Thanks.
We're proud of you.
It.
So, this album, So You Want to Be an Outlaw. Let me go to the artwork first of all, because who's doing this? This is a reoccurring theme for you. Who does your artwork?
It goes back to I Feel All Right, and his name is Tony Fitzpatrick, and he's one of my best friends, and we sort of made a pact a long time ago that I would wrap my art in his art. He does the dust covers on both of my books. Were done by him. He's done posters for the plays that I produced when I had the theater company in Nashville. He's a kind of a bigger deal as a visual artist than I am as a songwriter when it gets right down to it. He's friends with Terry Allen, but he's from Chicago, from the South Side, lives there still. He's a really good writer, really good actor, and one of the guys like Terry that sort of inspired me to do things outside of my home-based craft, that would inform what I do. But all those covers that you see that have become sort of a trademark of ours, those are all the work of Tony Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, well, that's really good work. So, right now, Steve, we are in a membership drive, a pledge drive, as you well know what public radio is, for KPFT.
First radio station I ever got on was KPFT in Houston.
Bam, baby. That's exactly what I wanted to come out of your mouth. So, just, if you can, just, in a short sentence, why should folks support public radio, and especially KPFT?
Well, KPFT has this deep history, and when you talk about this record, a lot of the reason this record of mine exists is because, I had cultural advantages. I was at the Dripping Springs reunion, the first 4th of July picnic, and a tribute to Cosmic Cowboy at Hoffhein's Pavilion, which was the KPFT benefit at the time. And a lot of great music, and there's like KPFT Live broadcast. There are two legendary bootlegs floating around out there that came out of KPFT recording artists performing at Liberty Hall in the 70s. There's a Bruce Springsteen one, and there's Graham Parsons and Emmylou Harris, that the Fallen Angels band. That stuff, you got a good musical education. I know about reggae. I learned about that from KPFT when I lived in Houston, because KPFT sponsored a showing of The Harder They Come right after it came out, and that's how I found out about that movie and that record, and that was a life-changing experience for me as a musician. So it's just radio that's about the community that you live in. It's also radio about music that counts, and stuff that isn't easy to get funded anymore. Being a singer-songwriter is more like being a bluegrass player or jazz player. You can make a good living at it, but it's not necessarily what the mainstream's interested in anymore. So I'm pretty much played on public radio, and listener-sponsored radio is pretty much my home nowadays. Except for the show I have on the satellite radio channel. That's it. Yeah. So I can play whatever. I do play myself from time to time, I have to admit. But it's, public radio, any community that has a public radio station is a richer community. And there's the Pacifica tradition that, KPFT is part of, and, the Berkeley stations, and which I've also got a relationship with. But KPFT is where first place I ever got on the radio was playing live in the studio in KPFT a long time ago, and it's Huey Moe had a show back in those days. It was a wild place, and you could get in down there. You could go down there, and it was accessible. You could talk to people. It was part of the community and part of everything that I did during the years I lived in Houston.
Well, man, I asked for one sentence, and I got a dissertation, and I thank you for that.
Oh, thank you. Well, probably one sentence might have been more useful to you, but it's something I feel pretty strongly about.
I appreciate it. Steve Earle on the phone with us. We're talking about his brand new album, So You Want to Be an Outlaw, Steve Earle and the Dukes. Steve will be in Houston, Texas, Monday, July 3rd, and we have pair tickets for those, and I think we've sold our in this drive for my show, the 5 allotted pairs we had. So we're so excited for you, Steve, and I'm just so happy that. It's like you know, we all go through phases and stages, as they say, and you're in a whole new place in your life, and you know, with your small son, and you know, Justin Talon's doing so well, and you're about to be granddaddy, and you know, you're healthy, you're looking great, you're putting out great music. Chris Masterson, I mean, kicks ass, and we just keep doing what you're doing, man. You're making us proud.
Yeah, it's a great band. It's funny because it's come down to it. It's an all Tennessee rhythm section, and the rest of us are from Texas because we have Ricky Ray Jackson on pedal steel from Dallas, and the band now lives in Austin for a long time now, but he's from Dallas. And actually, Charlie Sexton told me about him originally, but then Chris and Earle knew him too. So we needed a steel player for this band, and the next record. You know, a lot of people will notice this is not a very political record. That's because I didn't know this was going to happen when I wrote these songs. The next record will be just as country as this one and probably way more political. You can pretty much count on it.
Well, I can't wait for that to come out. Well, Steve, listen, man, we appreciate the time you had with us. And good luck to you. We'll see you here literally in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, just a couple of weeks. We're starting the tour in Texas.
And please, I want to see a photo with your new grandbaby. Is it a boy or girl? Do you know what they're having?
Well, this one's going to be a girl. I have two in Austin, you know, that my middle son Ian has two kids. And so they were around a lot of time we were making this record because we made this in Austin at Earle Studios. But I've got a boy and a girl, you know, grandbaby there, and I got a girl on the way. So and I didn't have any girls of my own, so I like the girls.
Steve, this is Racehorse, kind of a co-host, co-producer of the show. I was at Cactus. I actually bought Terraplane. I always wanted that album, and I got it on vinyl. And then I spotted this kind of 45 of you and the Dukes at the Continental Club. Side A is Are You Sure Hank Done It This Way? And 2 is Fixin' to Die. Did you make this while you were recording the album?
Yeah, what we did was we recorded the record basically in 5 days, and in Earle Studios. It's all live. All the vocals are live. The last 2 days we loaded into the Continental Club's at the foot of the hill. So the last 2 days we played the Continental Club, and it was a zoo. And it was like and the Mastersons played, and you know, it was Jimmy McMurtry played, and Reckless Kelly opened one night, and Jimmy the next night. And we recorded both of those. And Record Store Day next year, you're going to see an LP that looks pretty much exactly like that single, same picture front and back, except it'll be 12 inches, and it'll be the whole performance from the second night at the Continental Club for all practical purposes.
Awesome.
That's great. That's great. Well, Steve, we know you got a schedule to keep, buddy, so happy Father's Day. Good luck with the new grandbaby. Great. Good luck with it, So You Want to Be an Outlaw. We love the album, and really happy you're doing well. And thanks for supporting Public Radio Pacifica. And just
my pleasure and my duty, and we will see you on the 3rd on our way to Willie's Picnic.
All right. Steve Earle, thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
See ya.
All right. Steve Earle on the phone with us there.